There is a method behind the madness, folks. There just happened to be some video thumbnails that we had made that involved the Oilers and the Red Wings, so I was like, you know what, we can combine these two topics together because I want to talk about these signings. I don't necessarily want to talk about a lot of the other signings or the trade that happened today, although we might make a video about the trade. That's possible. Yeah, no, I think we'll make a video about that trade later on. But today, we are talking about the Wings and the Oilers. I apologize for this video coming out late. I have not been sleeping a lot lately. And for obvious reasons, that is the case. Like the draft, the free agency, it's been so busy in my life, and I finally got myself a nap that extended a little bit too long last night, and I slept past my alarm. I woke up earlier today, but I was the most tired I had ever been after sleeping, so I ended up sleeping even more, and now I feel really guilty because I can't make money by making YouTube videos. Let's go out there and talk about the Red Wings and the Oilers, because both of these teams had made signings that I think we should dive into here. Starting out with Detroit, they have signed Elmer Soderblom to a 2-year contract with an AAV of $1.125 million. And this should not be surprising. The Wings qualified Elmer yesterday. They didn't allow him to go to unrestricted free agency status. Now he is back in Detroit, and you know, they were saying that they kind of needed to do this. Everybody was talking about, hey, the Red Wings, they had signed Berggren, so now they gotta get Soderblom. You know, soda always goes with burgers, so this is the deal here. 2-way deal, $1.125 million a season. He is a fair contract here. AFP Analytics said that Soderblom was worthy of a $1.1 million AAV deal for 2 years. He gets a $1.12 million AAV deal. So it's a very fair contract. Nobody's really winning here. Nobody's really losing. It's very evaluated properly, and for good reason too. Soderblom is 23 years old, 6th-round pick by the Red Wings back in the 2019 NHL Entry Draft, 6'8", 247. He's a big boy. Left-handed guy who eventually worked himself up from the Frolunda system into Grand Rapids and inevitably Detroit. The fact that he is making $1.125 million a year means that the contract is one way. Whether he's in the NHL or the AHL, he will make the same amount of money. And so, you scroll down over here, the guy had 17 points in 38 Griffins games, 11 points in 26 Red Wings games. He is a fine NHL caliber point producer who hasn't really been given a full shot at being a National Hockey League talent for 82 games, but he's been progressing slowly. He's only 23. There's a lot of time here for Soderblom to continue growing and becoming that NHL talent. I think a lot of Wings fans are fans of the Soderblom experiment, not just because, you know, he's 6'8", 247, not just because he has a solid frame and a really unique profile, but because he was a 6th-round pick. The fact that he is even in the NHL conversation as a 6th-round guy 6 years ago, that's a really big deal. You never see 6th-round picks make the NHL in general. So Soderblom is already defying expectations and defying gravity, you could say, by being in the NHL bubble, and now he's got a contract that sees him making over $1 million. That's a really good accomplishment. I think Soderblom deserves it, and as long as he's able to continue on this path, by the time next season rolls around, if he is a solid 82-game guy, that is ample value for anybody who is drafted in the 6th round. He could probably get 10 goals on a year, 15 goals on a year if he puts himself in the right spots, and the Red Wings have all the benefits to gain from that deal. So, let's skip over to the Detroit rival in Edmonton, because yeah, we've been making a lot of Edmonton Detroit videos over the past few days. They just kind of mesh together well. Plus, I don't really think it's, you know, easy to make videos, full-length commentary videos on just individual stories like these. Speaking about guys who are physical, speaking about guys who are going to be in the bottom of the lineup, the Edmonton Oilers have signed Curtis Lazar. The return of the king. He is coming back to Edmonton as the Oilers have signed him to a one-year deal with an AAV of $775,000. This is a sneaky good pickup, according to Oily Big Dog, and I kinda tend to agree here. Now, Curtis Lazar is a name that I'm familiar with, not necessarily because of his time with the Edmonton Oilers, which was kinda short-lived for a bit. Or not the Oilers, excuse me. He never played for the Oilers. He's been coming back to Edmonton. Ah, that's what it is. He's coming back to Edmonton. That is so interesting how a team would say, oh, the return. He's coming back. But it's not like he played with the Oilers in the past. He played with the Oil Kings. Yeah, the Oil Kings. That's what it was. I was kind of confused. I was like, wait, he played for the Oilers? Okay, I mean, he played everywhere, so I wouldn't doubt it, but nah. He didn't play for the Edmonton Oilers. He played for the Edmonton Oil Kings as a prospect for the Ottawa Senators, inevitably going over to Calgary, Buffalo, Boston, Vancouver, and then New Jersey. Now, you're going to look at the point production, and you're going to remain unimpressed. Hey, the guy only had 5 points in 48 games this most recent season. Well, he had quintuple that production in 2023-2024. There's a lot better profile out of Curtis Lazar 2 seasons ago, and in the limited stint in Vancouver, you'll say, oh, 5 points, 45 games? What are you talking about, Lego? This guy sucks. Like, that's what the profile or the numbers would indicate, but really, Curtis Lazar was not given a chance to shine in Vancouver at all, but in the bottom of the lineup, he was a very noticeable forward. 6 feet 203 right-handed guy, not the biggest dude in the world, but he is capable of running a storm in the bottom of the lineup. He can play that bulldog wrecking ball style hockey very well. He's a good checking forward. He plays with pace. He doesn't have that much skill, and I think he had some injury problems when he was in Vancouver, but this was a guy who was an option and who was somewhat valuable. And that is noted by that career-high 25-point season he had with the Devils in 2023-2024. Now, he's not going to go over to Edmonton and light the lamp, but having Lazar playing with a guy like Podkolzin, for example, there's so much that you could accomplish with a duo like that. The Oilers are grabbing these guys, and they're getting players who can play with pace. Pods, Mangiapane, Curtis Lazar, Riley Stillman. Okay, no, just kidding. Riley Stillman is cheeks. But still, Curtis Lazar is an underrated pickup for the Oilers that does not cost this team much money at all. $775,000. That is a virtual nothing deal. But it gives the guy the contract that he needs to go over to a Cup championship caliber team. Bench Rates goes out there and says that Curtis Lazar is a forward for depth, who's not bad at defense, a replacement, much cheaper by the way, for Connor Brown. He didn't have a great season last year. He had $559,000 worth of value for the New Jersey Devils. So the fact that he had signed for $775,000 is pretty good, I'd say. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Curtis Lazar signing with the Edmonton Oilers, about Elmer Soderblom signing with the Detroit Red Wings. What are your thoughts on these transactions here? Again, apologies for the late videos. I have been not sleeping at all, and I'm very tired. I'm a human being. So, I apologize. The Patrick Kane video the other day, I didn't even address that. I uploaded it, but it was checking for too long on YouTube, which is why I ended up doing other things because I was so busy, and then I didn't realize that it wasn't uploaded until I was at dinner with my friends later in the night, and I was like, oh, crap, I have to publish that video. So, lots going on here in the NHL. I'm looking forward to getting more sleep by the time this free agency period dies down. But for now, Soderblom signed, Curtis Lazar signed. Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.